Welcome to the Assembly Committee on Education, the most thoughtful committee of the Nevada State Legislature. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Assembly members De Silva, Dahlia, DeLong, Flanagan, Hanson, Hardy, Hunt, Koenig, LaRue Hatch, Mosca, Orntlicker, and Chair Torres Fawcett.
Welcome to the audience here in Carson City, those joining us by video conference in Las Vegas, and obviously those joining us on the internet. If you're listening to us on YouTube, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe. A couple of housekeeping items. Please don't forget to silence your electronic devices. If you wish to testify, please sign in at the table by the door and provide your business card to the committee secretary. For those joining online, please be sure to mute your microphone. Same if you're in Las Vegas, please mute your microphone when you are done speaking so that we can minimize background noise. When testifying, please turn on the microphone and clearly state your name, spell your name, and state your affiliation, if any, for the record. Then turn the microphone off each time you are done speaking. A handout should be provided to my committee staff ahead of the meeting. We expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during the meeting, even if we do not agree with another person's position. Committee members will be using their laptops to view handouts and other documents. Please do not view this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. Public comment will be taken at the end of the meeting. Each person will be limited to 2 minutes. In addition, the public may submit written testimony to the committee up to 24 hours after the hearing. We do have 2 bills on the agenda today. So our first bill on the agenda will be AB 289. So I'll go ahead and open the hearing on AB 289.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett, Vice Chair De Silva, and the very highly educated members of the Assembly Committee on Education. My name is Ewing Wing. I represent the Assembly District 8 in Southwest Las Vegas. My presentation today will be as quick as how long it takes to read the bill. Assembly Bill 289 would authorize our Board of Regents of the University of Nevada to establish a course of study in financial literacy. Financial literacy is one of the issues I hold near and dear to me, and one of the biggest issues I advocated for in my first session. Last session, AB 274, signed by Governor Lombardo, was the first step in the right direction, requiring pupils in high school to enroll in a certain number of credits in financial literacy. That included learning certain skills necessary to develop a personal financial plan. AB 289 is AB 274 companion bill, carrying that financial literacy component over from high school to college. In the transition of high school to college, it is easy to forget what you've learned. Requiring our students to pass a financial literacy course in their studies during college is perfect timing. Legally now considered as an adult, college is where we should understand and manage our money effectively and learn how to make smart financial decisions. That doesn't happen too often here in Nevada. According to a 2024 report by Wallet Hub, Nevada was ranked the 10th least financial literate state. And according to the U.S. Census data from 2023, Nevada was ranked the second highest in the nation for financial distress. AB 289 would remedy that. I will now pass it over first to Dr. Catherine Kim, actually the other way around, first to Chloe Kim, and then Dr. Catherine Kim, who is active in our community as a founder of a local nonprofit and members of the Nevada Youth Council, to help me with the presentation of this bill. So, Chloe.
Hi, my name is Chloe Kim. Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett, Vice Chair De Silva, and members of the Assembly Education Committee. My name is Chloe Kim, and I am a sophomore at the Meadows High School. Today, I want to share my personal journey with financial literacy and why I believe AB 289 is so important. Growing up, I always heard my mom talk about savings account and budgeting, but it wasn't until my economics class that I truly began to understand these concepts. When AB 274, sponsored by Assemblymember Wynn, passed into law in 2023, it had been an eye-opening experience. In my economics class, we learned about career planning, investing, and budgeting. We even created our own resumes and practiced for job interviews. One day, our teacher even made us fill out a W-2 form as a graded assignment. That moment created a sense of urgency for me to actually learn the material. As a student living in Las Vegas, I've seen firsthand the importance of understanding the value of money. I've seen students spending frivolously without understanding the concepts of savings. I can only imagine if these bad habits carry on to college. According to a 2024 study, roughly 65% of college students have some type of credit card debt, and approximately 51 to 69% of college students graduate with student loans. According to studies, about 30 to 40% of young adults have a poor or fair credit score, which is below 670. There is clearly a problem with college students having difficulty managing their money. Having student loans and credit card debt can lead to a downward spiral. Although we're learning about financial literacy now, it's crucial that this education continues into college when we have the opportunities to create our own savings account, legally gamble at 21, of course, or open our own credit cards. The knowledge I've gained from financial literacy education has been invaluable, and I hope future college students will benefit from the same education if AB 289 is passed. As a high school student and a daughter, I urge your strong support of AB 289 on financial literacy in higher education. Thank you for listening to my story and considering the importance of financial literacy education for all students.
Greetings, Chair Torres Fawcett, Vice Chair De Silva, and Education Committee. It's an honor to be here today to speak about AB 289. I am Kathy Kim, an Asian American resident of Las Vegas, Nevada, and a proud mother of 3 daughters, one of whom is here today, Chloe, who just presented this bill. So our family, we have very busy schedules, and the only time we can really get to talk together and talk about important issues is during dinner. And this is when I talk to my children about crucial issues such as financial responsibility. And growing up, I know that my parents, they never really talked to me about credit card debt, savings, debt management, or even investing. So I do remember when I opened my first credit card in college, I just remember multiple vendors are coming up to you during open week asking to, I think it's a free credit application. And I just thought, the more credit cards I open, the more I can spend. And I think it's important that we discuss these issues while these kids are young, especially during the college years where these decisions are made and they have more independence to make these decisions. And my senior, she's headed off to college. My oldest, she wants to open a credit card next year. And I think it's just important and vital for her to understand that she needs to limit the number of credit cards that she opens. And basically, for many students, this can be the start of a healthy relationship with money, savings, budget, and investing. But it can also become the beginning of many years of compounding really bad financial decisions. And that can potentially lead to a lifetime of debt. So I think that early education is really important to make the significant difference in their lives. And recently, I applaud the success and focus of this issue currently at UNLV. They have launched a literacy and wellness program, and they believe that financial health is a key component of overall wellness, and financial literacy should be a core part of their curriculum. And there is a quote from a stakeholder from the College of Southern Nevada, that states, "I think financial literacy is important for high school and college students because they learn to budget effectively, manage debt, and make informed and educated decisions about loans, credits, and investments." So many college students, they graduate with significant debt and very little understanding of how to navigate these personal finances, which are going to lead to long-term financial struggles. So these classes, it can give these students the knowledge and tools that they need to just build a stable financial future. So as a result, I believe it is crucial to teach these students the importance of financial responsibilities while in college before they enter the real world. This is when they get their full-time jobs and salaries, and I'm happy that the bill was passed last year for high school students, as both my high schoolers are now benefiting from that bill, and now I think strongly that this bill should be implemented at a college level. Thank you.
Yui Wing, for the record, thank you, Chloe, and thank you, Dr. Kim, for your awesome presentation. With your permission, Chair, I have submitted a proposed conceptual amendment. With your permission, I'd like to go over that. The proposal amendment in front of you actually is slightly updated from the one you got on Nella's. It has a small grammatical typo that it was fixed. Instead of saying the word receive, it should say the word receiving. So that should be in front of you. With the proposed amendment in front of you, only those seeking degrees in our university system would be required to take and pass this course. The original language added the certificate students, which was not the intention of the bill. So non-degree seeking students that want to earn college credits or for personal or professional fulfillment are exempt from this requirement. Additionally, this required courses to be taken as part during their general education requirement. And I've been meeting with stakeholders, including our Nevada system of higher education, as well as students across our state. And we will continue to work with the stakeholders to make sure that all of the important components are in the bill. And with that, we will pause right now for any question from the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Committee members, I know I have a couple questions. I'm going to go first to Assemblymember LaRue-Hatch, and then I'll go to Assemblymember Koenig.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for presenting this important bill. Thank you. So I agree that financial literacy is really critical, and I appreciate you bringing this issue. I just want to clarify how it will work in practice. So currently, some universities and institutions allow financial literacy as a course that can meet requirements, but not everyone is required to take that. Is that correct?
Yui Wing, for the record. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And so then just to follow up on that, this would change it to every student would have to get this. And my question is just, is it for all degrees? So if I get an associate's and then a bachelor's and then a master's, will I take the same course 3 times, or will it be just for undergrad?
Yui Wing, for the record. Thank you, Assemblymember LaRue-Hatch, for the question. I think the intention of the bill is that as often as you can, you should take financial literacy. Obviously, with the requirements, we're still working on that with the stakeholders. So thank you for bringing that up about the associate level and the undergrad level. We want to make sure that as part of their matriculations, whether they're going through the associate program or and then continuing to bachelor, because some may just go associate and then stop. They don't go any further. So perhaps if those that may be taken at community college level already for Gen Ed, that perhaps when they transfer to a 4-year institution and just go straight to their major requirements, that they don't have to repeat that. So that is why the intention in the beginning was that we are suggesting the Board of Regents take this issue on in terms of getting it more to that granular level. We're still working on that. So with your input, as a member of LaRue-Hatch, we would love to get your input in terms of going forward and making sure that we have the right language in there.
Assemblymember Koenig.
Thanks for the presentation. And I think the general idea, I think that's probably a good thing. I think sometimes the devil's in the details. We put an undue burden on. I mean, we have 7 institutions that all of a sudden have to give this one class to every single one of their students that wants to get a degree. I don't know the numbers, but I would guess the majority of your students probably are seeking a degree. Are the colleges going to be able to find enough teachers to teach this one class. I mean, every single class in our system, all of a sudden, every single student in our system, all of a sudden, boom, has to take this one class. Can the colleges absorb this and have that happen? Second quick thought was, dual enrollment students, we have specified they have to take this class in high school and now this class in college. Can we make sure that if they're doing dual credit and they're taking the class as a high school student in the college setting, that they're not going to have to take that class again? And then, I sat through a 2.5-hour budget hearing this morning in NSHE. I think if every single student has to add this class, that maybe that's a little bit of a fundraiser for us anyway. So thank you.
Ewing Wing for the record, and I apologize for not asking this earlier. May I go direct to the member?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Again, Ewing Wing for the record. I want to make sure that as we were going through this process, I've learned that, and some of the members may be aware that we cannot tell the Board of Regents directly what can be done. So at the suggestion of LCB, we are putting in enabling language that perhaps create a umbrella idea for the Board of Regents to go down more to the granular level and figure out how this could be carried out. I think in the original intent, going back to that, it's just that we would like this to be an offering in the course. For example, with the elective classes or gen ed classes, maybe between a elective gen ed, this could be one of the requirements that could be in those choices. But as far as going down to access and availability and all those things, I want to leave that up to the Board of Regents because they are responsible for getting down to those details and how to be able to execute this. Of course, with your suggestion, Assemblymember Koenig, I would definitely want to not add more burden to the process, but I want to make sure that because this is a good thing, as you can see, we want to be able to provide this option to students, and perhaps maybe the requirement could be worked out in a different way so that students that want to can still access this opportunities. And I am the same page with you when it comes to making sure that everybody have an opportunity to access this information. So I look forward to getting some more guidance on how to make this accessible to everyone.
Thank you.
Assemblymember DeLong.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for the presentation. I'm going to follow a little bit on Assemblyman Koenig's questioning. So this would be a new class that every student that's getting a degree would have to take. Is the intent to have this be an additional 3 or 4 credits that they have to take to get a degree, or is it to replace a class they already have? Because there's usually a certain number of credits you need to graduate, both on the breadth requirements as well as your core curriculum. What's the intent there?
Ewing Wing for the record. Thank you, Assemblyman DeLong, for your question. I think, again, this is not adding more to the number of credits. I think right now, if I remember correctly, there's 120 credit required to graduate from your undergraduate 4-year university credit. No, I'm not adding more to that 120. This is an option of, rather taking one class for your gen ed as part of that requirement to get to that, I think, 60 general education credit. That financial literacy could be one of them. So perhaps the intention is for that class to be accessible, and there are going to be students like Chloe over here who may not need the class because she has already gone through a series of classes, whether personally or in her home, so she does not need access to that same class. But someone else that doesn't have the ability to, maybe they're coming from another state that it's not in their high school, that they can take this class as an option. So I see now with the line of questions, when all of the committee members are going through, we will make it so that it is something that is accessible within the gen ed classes that they can pick from versus going things on top of. So the currently the thought process is just to make sure that it's accessible, and perhaps we're going to remove the mandatory language to be a little bit more flexible, so folks can be able to see this as a option that they can have. I hope that answered your questions.
I'm going to ask our legal counsel to provide some clarification to some of our members. I know we have a lot of new members on this committee, and just like the legislature's ability to like create oversight over NG. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Asher Killian, Committee Counsel, and I will be brief. I will not Kevin Powers this. There are constitutional provisions in Article 11 of the Nevada Constitution that reserve certain powers over higher education, specifically the governance of the University of Nevada to the Board of Regents. And there have been multiple Supreme Court cases here in Nevada over the intervening decades, the most important being the King and Oakley cases, that establish the contours of what powers the legislature has with respect to the operations of the Board of Regents and their conduct of the state university. The general gist of those cases is that the legislature cannot enact laws that restrict the ability of the Board of Regents to govern the internal operations of the state university. Things like establishing curriculum requirements or establishing what the requirements are for particular degrees would almost certainly be matters of the internal operation of the state university that are within the control of the Board of Regents. And so that's why this bill is structured with a may instead of a shall, because this is the legislature exercising its power to express to the Board of Regents what it would like to see in their curriculum, because the legislature likely constitutionally does not have the power to do that directly under the Nevada Constitution as interpreted by the Supreme Court in the King and Oakley cases.
Thank you. We will continue on with does anybody have any clarifying questions for our legal counsel? It doesn't appear that there are any. I'll go next to, and I know I have a couple people in the queue, so I'll go first to Assemblymember Ortlicker, and then I'll go to Assemblymember Hansen.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for addressing this important issue. As you've heard from some of our colleagues, concerns about requiring a course, and you've said that maybe it won't be a requirement, but it reminds me of some of the requirements I have as a faculty member, and periodically, well, every year actually, I have to do a few online certifications in different areas. It might have to be dealing with the problem of workplace harassment. It might be about cybersecurity to make sure we are aware of the risks out there, and every year it's an online course. I have to pass an exam, and that seems more feasible than having a course that would require a lot of instruction time. Is that something, when you say course of study, would that include an online course of study that would be much more easily offered and completed by students?
Ewing Wing, for the record, thank you, Assemblymember Orlichter, for the question. I think going back to our legal counsel word of wisdom there, I think we will be able to suggest to the Board of Regents some of these methods of how to conduct this, and we will do our best to, I guess, give our intention of making this course accessible, whether it's online format or in-person instruction or, however it's being delivered. I think as you may be aware in terms of our personal finances and in terms of our, daily interaction with all these financial tools, it's a complex topic. So sometimes simple online instruction by clicking a few slides and, taking a quiz at the end may or may not give the real life example that it needs, especially our tax structure. I know in Nevada we don't have state income tax, but we have federal income tax, right? Those are sometimes complex, even for folks who have been a taxpayer for many, many years. And there's also, different lending products. I know that, for me, for example, I went to college at the age of 16 and, being asked to sign a student loan document, it has like 40 pages of fine print, do I understand what I just signed? So sometime those deliverable format, as you were talking about, like a continuing education piece that you have to do every year to keep up your licensing requirement, that is a little bit more because you already are expert in that topic. But in terms of financial world, whether you're, a 5-year-old or 95-year-old, you're dealing with different financial situation. And I think from a instruction standpoint, it needs a little bit more complexity than just simple one-time interaction, and then you'll be able to master the subject.
Assemblymember Hanson.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, and to your guests for being here to present the bill today. I'm a fan, and I'm glad that we qualified, and thank you to our legal counsel, that we qualified that the language is may, because we don't have the authority to get into the weeds like that with the Board of Regents. And so the suggestion that we have as part of this financial literacy, having 8 college graduates myself, and familiar with some of them having graduated from the University of Nevada, Reno, go Pack. These core, I guess what I'm saying that I would like to see the Board of Regents in this May language take into consideration as part of the core general education requirements that students have to take, particularly maybe in their freshman year. And as we look at some of those, maybe there's an evaluation that needs to happen. So how effective, how much time do we spend on some of the existing general ed requirements, like, for instance, effective composition. These are some of the general ed courses: effective composition, communication, quantitative reasoning, history and culture, along with additional areas such as diversity and equity. We know that math and math placement is another part of that entry into the college system. Seeing an integration of financial literacy, I am sure, hopefully could be accomplished in somewhere in this core curriculum. I don't want to see the system have added things for students, but maybe it's time for an assessment of what are we addressing in the core curriculum? Can financial literacy be part of that in a shared capacity with some existing curriculum, or maybe as the time come to face some of the other core requirements? So that's more of a statement than a question. I do have actually one small question. Do we have other states that you could lend as an example that might do this at the college level?
Ewing Wing, for the record, thank you, Assemblymember Hanson, for the question, and I really appreciate your statements earlier on some of the feedback towards the core general education competency. In terms of Nevada and other states, I kind of have not seen this anywhere else, so it's kind of nice for Nevada being the first to do this, and that would be great because we want to be on top of some lists, and this is a good list to be on top of. So I do want to throw a shout out. I know that we're very territorial in terms of the mascots around here, but UNLV does offer this already as part of their curriculum. So when AB 274 passed in 2023, I got a phone call from one of the professor at UNLV, and they said, "Hey, good news! We already started here at UNLV offering this course. It's called Financial Literacy, Finance 111. That's the name of the course in financial literacy, and it's pretty much cover most of what I am imagining in this particular draft. So, as of right now, I have not seen it in any other institutions, public institution, I should say, public university system institutions, but hopefully we'll be the first and everybody will follow suit. So, so as of right now, as far as I know, UNLV is the only institution in Nevada is currently offering this course.
Members, any additional questions? Assemblymember De Silva.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Assembly Member Nguyen, for bringing this bill forward, and also co-presenters here. Great presentation. And again, I do need to reiterate that I'm a fan of the high school requirement for financial education. I myself am teaching that course. You know, I'm a government teacher, social studies, but the way that it was handled, this is going to really stem to the question I'll be asking, is that as a government teacher, I teach that course in the fourth quarter. So the way that many of the schools in the Clark County School District have handled it is that they've added the requirement, which is a quarter-long study now of financial literacy and other topics related to the matter. Will be done in the fourth quarter. So the first half of the semester is government, then you'll have economics, which is also in some ways related to financial literacy, and then financial literacy has its own subset. So my question was, what do you think about adding course requirements to already currently in place embedded courses within the system? I know that there are math requirements. There's some requirements for maybe business courses, things like that, where you can have part of the actual syllabus of the course will mandate some kind of financial literacy engagement. Would that also suffice? Do you think in your perspective? Thank you.
Ewing Wing for the record, and thank you, Assemblyman De Silva, for the question. And I really am so excited that you are teaching the course. It's just amazing. A student can learn a lot from you. And the half credit that you mentioned was the intent of AB 274. That was half of a credit. So obviously it's integrated into that semester-long topics in, I believe, social studies or government studies. And that worked for the high school. I think in the higher education system, going back to our council advice, we want to color inside the box, so to speak. So I'll go back and consult with Mr. Killian in terms of making sure that intention is in there as well. And of course, I think a couple of other members have said it as well, to put it as part of some of the curriculum. But then again, we may ask them to do that, and the Board of Regents will figure it out on their own.
Thank you. And I know I have another question, but before I get into that, just to clarify, our committee council does not provide advice. They just provided background information as to the role of our role in supporting ENCHI or creating policy that may impact ENCHI. But I know that our committee council would be happy to have another conversation with you about that. But just to clarify for the record, Assemblymember Flanagan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Member Nguyen, for this presentation. I appreciate the intentionalness of it, and my question piggybacks off of Assemblymember De Silva's question related to the high school space. In that space, because kids come out and they don't all go to college, so some just go to vocational training or military or whatever, cosmetology school, barber school, what have you, and in those spaces they may get education. In high school, is it mandatory that students take it? Like, is it mandatory before you graduate? Do you do it in your senior year? So that they're not falling through the cracks and never getting to college to actually take this literary course, this financial literacy course. Thanks.
Ewing Wing for the record. Thank you, Assemblymember Flanagan, for the question. I think, yes, AB 274 in 2023 session did have that requirement that it must be taken on that half credit. It must be taken before they graduate high school. So for those who could pursue a college degree afterwards and go to a vocational or go to a trade school, they definitely did get that half a credit in high school. You're talking to someone who is very passionate about this topic in financial literacy. Whether you're 5 or 85, like I said before, you're going to learn how to interact with financial decisions, right? So my goal is to hopefully partnering with financial institutions across our state to look at how we can integrate that into those curriculum at the trade schools or at those vocational school, because I think these are valuable lessons, and I hope to do that and partner with everybody involved to make it accessible to everyone. Doesn't matter which path of education that you choose to go, that this tool is available to you and you can use it to help, better your lives.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions from members at this time. We'll go ahead and go into support. I do believe we have quite a few people that have signed in. I just want to make it clear for the record that I'll invite people to testify in support. We'll go 30 minutes of support, 30 minutes of opposition, and 30 minutes of neutral. If that's what we have, that's what we have allocated in time. I'll start here in Carson City. We'll go for 15 minutes, and then I'll go to Las Vegas for 15 minutes if the 15 minutes is reached here in Carson City at that time. So do know I have quite a few people I expect to speak, but thank you.
Hello, for the record, my name is Mark Ellis. I'm President of Communication Workers of America, Local 9413. We support this bill, and even though I might be wearing red, I do live in Carson City, so go back.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Vivian Perez. I have the pleasure of interning for Assemblymember Wynn this session, thanks to UNAR's internship program, where I am currently majoring in political science and have a minor in business administration. Today, I am here in support of AB 289. Many students that I know graduate without fundamental financial knowledge, often leaving them unprepared to manage their budgets, credit, and student loans effectively. As a college student, I have lived with many other students supporting themselves financially, and I have seen firsthand the obstacles that come with a lack of financial knowledge, leading to a buildup of debt from student loans to credit cards and figuring out what to eat for the week. AB 289 addresses this issue by authorizing the Board of Regents to establish a financial literacy course as a graduation requirement to equip students with these essential skills for their future. I urge your support for AB 289 to promote financial preparedness among students and your constituents. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Trevor Parrish, Manager of Government Affairs for the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber's in support of AB 289, as the Board of Regents ought to have the ability to establish proficiency requirements for students to demonstrate financial literacy in order to graduate. The more that we can help our students be prepared for these challenges, the higher quality of life that they will have. The Chamber thanks the bill sponsor for bringing this forward, and we thank you for your time and consideration of this measure. Thank you.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, for the record, my name is Akiko Cooks. I am here as the Executive Director and co-founder of No Racism in Schools 1865. I am here in support of AB 289. I purchased my first car on my own in college, and the interest rate was too high. I had no concept of what an interest rate was or how it could have lasting impacts on my financials or my credit score. I ended up losing that car, and it stuck with me for years. To this day, I am weary of financing anything because of that experience, and I bought my current car with cash because I am still intimidated by the financial system. I am not alone in stories like this. Every day, our young people in Nevada and in this country struggle to understand how these complex financial systems work. We have to arm our young people with this information so that they can make good decisions. These types of bills help ensure all of our young people to have a level financial playing field. I urge your support. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Torres Fawcett and other members on the committee. My name is Aria Barbuti. I'm here as a foster advocate with Children's Advocacy Alliance. I entered the foster care system as a teenager. I strongly support AB 289 because it will give youth and the support we need to build stable, successful futures. We need financial literacy. Unlike many of my peers, I didn't have parents helping me with college applications, financial aid, or finding stable housing after high school. I am now in college and independence. I'm facing huge financial and logistical challenges. AB 289 ensures that foster youth, especially those who have entered the system later in life, have financial literacy, support, and resources needed to transition successfully into adulthood. For teens exiting foster care, the path to stability is already harder. Many age out of the foster system with no financial safety net, no permanent connections, and limited guidance on what comes next. AB 289 addresses these gaps by ensuring youth have access to resources, guidance, and opportunities they need to succeed. With financial literacy, we have the tools to break the cycle of poverty. I urge your support to AB 289 and ensure that all youth have the tools to build a brighter future. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jason Lane, and I am a foster youth advocate who grew up in kinship care with my grandmother. I strongly support AB 289 because it will make a real difference for young people like me who are trying to build a stable future. Growing up in kinship care, I didn't have the same financial safety net that many of my peers did. My grandmother did everything she could to support me, but we struggled. Now, as I enter college, I am balancing tuition, living expenses, and finding a job, all without the kind of financial support that many students take for granted. AB 289 ensures that all youth have access to financial literacy so they can learn to make choices that will improve their future. With AB 289, youth in kinship care and foster care will have a better chance of succeeding in college and becoming financially stable adults. This bill isn't about giving foster youth a handout, it's about giving us a fair start. I urge you to support AB 289 and give young people in foster care the resources they need to thrive. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Leanne McAllister. I'm the Executive Director of the Nevada chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics. The American Academy of Pediatrics and the pediatricians throughout the state of Nevada are constantly advising parents on how to teach their children financial literacy. And you have to remember that money management has a learning curve, and reinforcement is key. So the more coursework and the more reminders that we can remind our teens and our young adults to be wary of the endless barrage of propaganda that I know even I as an adult sometimes have to ignore, that to keep in mind what is real financial literacy and keeping control of your finances. We support this bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Daniel Archer, Nevada System of Higher Education. We support Assemblyman Wynn's commitment to increasing financial literacy. We look forward to continuing to work with him on this matter. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Emilio Esparza, and I'm currently a mechanical engineering major at UNR. Personally, I believe that I support this bill because I see students, engineering, math majors, business, we all struggle with financial aid. We all struggle with financial knowledge as well. I personally believe that educating these people and all these students is very important for the future of our success and for the future of the country. You would think that engineering majors would be good with numbers, but in reality we're not. I see a lot of us struggling. I see a lot of us asking a lot of questions to each other and we don't know the answers to them, and it's pretty sad, and hopefully one day politics and laws can help remedy those situations. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett and Education Committee members. My name is Nadine Kennefer, and for the record, that is spelled Nadine. Kennefer is spelled Kienhoef as in Frank, ER, and I'm with Ferrari Public Affairs, representing the Nevada Credit Union League. NCUL represents Nevada's credit union, who has served more than 400,000 members statewide. The NCUL has been a longtime supporter of financial literacy in the school system and would like to thank the sponsors for bringing forth AB 289 to authorize financial literacy in the state university system. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett and the most thoughtful Committee on Education. For the record, my name is Leonardo Benavides, here representing UNLV. I am here today in support of AB 289 as we recognize the importance of financial literacy for our students. Our Financial Literacy Institute was approved by the Board of Regents in September 2024, but prior to that, in spring of 2024, we had already started training opportunities. These involve both credit and non-credit based offerings. The non-credit bearing included courses on teaching our students about financial aid and loan forgiveness and in building credit, in order to better equip them as they navigate through their first financial challenges. We work with our student orgs on campus to ensure people knew about these courses. On the credit-bearing side, the Department of Finance at the Lee Business School developed its offering and is offering a sequence of 2 financial literacy courses, with the first one approved as a Gen Ed course. This has generated so much interest from students that we're looking to turn these offerings into micro-credentials. This will include a non-credit-bearing micro-credential that we will offer free when it is ready. Finally, I want to highlight our designated space that we are targeting to open on the campus this fall. This will include the student-run credit union done in conjunction with Aloha Pacific that will provide internships and externships opportunities for students. This will be an area on campus that will be accessible to both students and the general public. Finally, we're working with Junior Achievement, we are working with Junior Achievement on collaborative spaces in Las Vegas to start literacy conversations, financial literacy conversations with students from elementary on up to high school level, so we can better prepare our students for the final goal and the final financial decisions they will be making as they enter higher ed. We at UNLV are very proud of the work in the financial literacy space, and that's why we thank Assemblymember Wynn for bringing this bill forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Tara Webster, Tarawebster. On behalf of the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada, we are here to support AB 289. Years prior to my work with PLAN, I actually ran the Women in Science and Engineering program at the University of Nevada, Reno. This is a program for first-year female college students in STEM, and each semester I held a financial literacy week called Wiser Women that really took a deep dive into where they as women fit into the conversation about financial literacy, and we covered all the basics: opening a bank account, savings account, prioritizing your needs and wants, and the basics of credit cards, financial aid loans, and checking your credit score annually, and so this was really near and dear to me, running this program. This really opened a lot of pathways for deeper conversations with my female students about their future careers and goals, that financial literacy wasn't just about money. It was about setting the groundwork for them to have a stable future and a better quality of life. We talked about how women earned less and lived 5 to 10 years longer than men, how, the ways that they could address the gender pay gap, that working longer wasn't a retirement plan for them. And that the hard truth was that Social Security probably wasn't going to be there by the time that they were retiring. So it was important for them to start making plans now. I prioritized financial literacy with the WISE program because it was what I desperately needed when I was a young 18-year-old starting my first semester at UNR. I was the first in my family to attend college and had no financial upbringing about, the basics of being smart with money. And that first semester in college, I signed up for a credit card, took out student loans I didn't understand, and that had a lot of crippling consequences that lasted for years. So I share that story because many of my students in that program were just like me, the first in their families to attend college. And
Thank you for your testimony. Please submit your written remarks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and Vice Chair and members of the Education Committee. My name is Jeff Thompson. I serve as the Executive Vice President and Provost at the University of Nevada, Reno, and I'm here to testify in support of Assembly Bill 289. At the university, we know that for many students as they start their university career, managing things like jobs, work, student loans, scholarships, and grants is a struggle for them. And financial literacy is one piece of the puzzle of helping them successfully navigate the university experience and graduate from college. We currently integrate this program into our Nevada Fit program, which is all freshmen go through this program before school starts. And one part of that is financial literacy, and exposing them to financial literacy and having them meet with members of the community and faculty to discuss financial literacy and how they can get help and support for financial literacy. We also offer courses in economics on financial literacy for the part of the general education requirements. And we know that this helps students graduate, which is one of our key responsibilities. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Matt Morris, for the record, here on behalf of the Nevada Consumer Credit Association in support of Assembly Bill 289. The Nevada Consumer Credit Association applauds AB 289's primary sponsor, Assemblymember Wynn, and Nevada legislators for recognizing the importance of encouraging Nevada's higher education institutions to empower their post-secondary students with a strong foundation in understanding credit, personal budgeting, and managing finances. Thank you for the opportunity to express support for this important legislation. Thank you.
At this time, we'll go ahead and go to Las Vegas. Please begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Torres Fawcett and members of the committee. My name is Eric Jang, ERICJNG. I'm the Executive Director of One API Nevada for advocating for the fast-growing Asian American Pacific Islander community. One of our, we already sent in a support statement, so I'm just going to read the one paragraph highlight. Our largest community program is our high school voter registration program. Last year, we helped more than 3,700 high school senior students register to vote. While we're doing that, we also asked them about the impact of AB 274, which was the high school financial literacy bill from last session. We saw they're actually getting the preparedness from learning about FICO score, learning about how to manage your budget in high schools. So we really want to support this extension of that bill for AB 289 going into college. Asian American and Native Hawaiian students make up about 11% of total NC population. We believe this bill will help them thrive and help them survive in this economy. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett and members of the Education Committee. For the record, I am Siobhan Louie, spelled C-E-V-A-N, last name L-O-U-I-E. I'm a high school student at Coral Academy, and I'm the Youth Community Coordinator at 1API in Nevada. Last year, I had the privilege of co-presenting on AB 274 on financial literacy for high school students, and I'm a student who lived through this very curriculum changes, and I can only say that they irreparably changed student outcomes. I watched as students from varying socioeconomic status talk about their families' backgrounds, talk about FICO scores, and most importantly, talk about FAFSA and scholarships as they applied for college. This financial literacy course that happened in high school would have gave the students the opportunity to prepare for and have these types of opportunities that would have never happened without it. I watched the students grew excited for our investment challenge that I'm experiencing in my senior year, turning real concepts like stocks and savings into something that was fun and exciting. AB 274 created better student outcomes, excitement, and is going to create and continue to create a better future for our students of Nevada. I can only hope that college students, just like me, are going to have that same privilege with this current bill. Thank you.
ABH, can we go to the phones? At this time, we're inviting
If you
anyone.
would like to testify,
Go ahead.
my apologies. Thank you. If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 289, please press *9 to join the queue.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Keys, and I'm a current senior at Pahrump Valley High School in Nye County and a student at Great Basin College, graduating with my associate's degree this year. I'm also serving as a student member to the Nevada State Board of Education, and I'm speaking on my own behalf. I'm excited to be offering testimony in support of AB 289, a bill that would help Nevada's higher ed students to be prepared and empower them to make informed decisions about key financial problems. No matter what a student may be studying at our NC institutions, financial literacy really is key for their success after graduation and prepares them to become financially stable as they enter their professional careers. This bill is a proactive step towards ensuring that all of our graduates are financially responsible citizens who contribute positively to Nevada's economy. Personally, I have been working on understanding how I'm going to be paying for my education at the University of Nevada, Reno, go Pack. This topic is extremely overwhelming and confusing to both me and my family, and additional guidance would be wonderful once I enroll in classes, and I know many students across the state of Nevada feel the same exact way. I urge your support for this legislation to prioritize the financial well-being of our students, and I look forward to its passage and the implementation of AB 289. Thank you for your time and for your consideration.
This is Emily Stevens, for the record, E-M-I-L-Y. Stevens is S-T-E-V-E-N-S. I'm here representing Rise Credit Union. Our credit union, we've invested in programs and personnel to go around the community, teach financial workshops, provide financial counseling. As we've done this, we've been able to create some partnerships with all different types of demographics. And when we're working with adults, one of the things that we find is that those that are really struggling with debt or they're kind of in a state of survival, it's usually because of habits that were created as young people. It didn't happen overnight. So for that reason, what we're trying to do is be a good partner in the community. And as we do this, and then we start working with universities. In fact, I was talking to one of our local universities just yesterday, and they were saying that some of their students that don't return the following year are because of financial reasons. Some of them are skeptical about student loans, but they're spending lots of money on their credit cards because they don't know the difference between compounding interest versus simple interest. And then some just don't know how to manage or budget their money. So, you know, even though some of these universities and colleges will have us come in and do a one-off workshop, and we try to help in that way, a bill like this that would make it more consistent for our students could really empower them to be financially secure and not end up in a situation like many of the folks that we see on a regular basis. So we definitely support this bill, and we think it would be great for our students. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair and committee members of the Education Committee. I'm Clara Thomas, former Assemblywoman for District 17 in beautiful North Las Vegas, and I am in full support of AB 289. This financial literacy, my personal opinion, should be taught in grade school, and I think throughout a child's history and education should have something to do with financial literacy. I am so honored that Assemblymember Yui Nguyen has brought this forward, and I'm hoping that the committee has the full support. And I too have support of AB 289, strong support of it. And thank you, committee. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Matthew Wilkie, W-I-L-K-I-E for the record. Calling in support. We've all heard multiple reasons why on a personal level financial literacy is important. But I want to bring up on a broader scale, financial literacy can have a positive impact on the public by contributing to a healthier economy. When more people understand concepts like budgeting, credit management, and investing, they're less likely to rely on public assistance in times of financial distress. Financially educated citizens are more likely to save and invest, which drives economic growth and promotes a culture of responsibility, responsible spending and savings. Financial literacy can reduce the overall risk of financial crises caused by widespread debt, poor investments, when individuals can make better financial choices, it leads to a more stable personal atmosphere and a stable economy, which benefits everybody. This course isn't just an investment in personal success. I think it's an investment in the community as a whole. Thank you for your time.
Madam Chair and a member of the committee, for the record, my name is Vida Lin, and I'm the founder and president of the Asian Community Development Council here to support of AB 289. As a group who support advocacy for the AA and HPI community across Nevada, I know the struggle when people do not have the financial literacy. Many of us come to this country seeking a better life. But when we arrive, we're not taught how a financial system works in this country. Bills like this one and the one Assembly Win brought last session gives our community the ability to get the education and make responsible financial decisions. This kind of education at the college level is critical. I urge you to support of this bill. Thank you.
Good day, Madam Chair, Doris Fawcett, and members of the Education Committee. This is Dora Martinez, and we wholeheartedly support this economically sound bill, Assembly Bill 289, and we thank the sponsor. Thank you. Have a good day.
Chair, there are no additional callers to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and move to opposition for AB 289. I don't see anyone here in Carson City. Is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in AB 289? AVH, can we go to the phones?
If you would like to testify in opposition to AB 289, please press star 9 to join the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you. At this time, I'll go ahead and move to neutral. Is there anyone wishing to testify neutral to AB 289? Please begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. My name is Kennedy Taylor, KENNEDYTAYLOR for the record. I serve as the Director of Government Affairs for the Associated Students of the University of Nevada. Since 1898, the Associated Students of the University of Nevada has represented the undergraduate student body at UNR. Today, I'm here to express... I'm sorry. I totally was on the wrong piece of testimony. ASUN appreciates the intent of AB 289 and supports efforts to improve financial literacy education. Initially, we opposed this bill due to concerns about the financial burden a potential new course requirement could place on students. However, after receiving clarification that this bill would not increase total credit requirements, we now take a neutral stance to provide additional considerations. We encourage a data-driven approach to ensure that any policy change effectively addresses financial literacy gaps. Do we have clear evidence that financial literacy is a widespread issue among Nevada college students? If not, mandating a course may be premature. ASUN currently partners with Nevada Money Mentors, a free financial literacy program for students at UNR. Rather than implementing a new requirement, we encourage further investment in existing financial literacy resources across NSHE campuses to strengthen student access to financial education. Additionally, we believe that the continued expansion of financial literacy education at the high school level should remain a priority. Many students began managing credit cards, signing leases, filing taxes, and handling insurance payments in their first semester of college, if not before. Ensuring financial literacy education is embedded in secondary education will allow all young adults, not just those who attend college, to develop these skills before facing major financial decisions. We encourage the committee to explore flexible approaches and ensure direct student input remains a key part of this discussion. ASUN looks forward to working with the sponsors on any potential refinements. Thank you for your time, and as always, go Pack.
Go Pack, and congratulations, because you're the first person to testify neutral this session that has actually been neutral. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you. At this time, I don't see any other neutral testimony here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. ABH, can we go to the lines and see if anybody else is on the line wishing to testify neutral to AB 289?
If you would like to testify in neutral for AB 289, please press star 9 now to join the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to provide testimony at this time.
Any closing remarks?
Thank you, Chair. Ewing Wing, for the record, again, all of us, whether we're 5 or 85, are affected by money, and understanding how it works is key to a better life. Financial literacy is a pathway to security, opportunity, and economic mobility for all Nevadans. I would know this. I grew up on a trailer park, and I saw firsthand the hardship my parents had to make sure that my sister and I would not follow their footsteps. AB 289 makes sure that our college students are equipped with the knowledge to secure a better financial future for themselves and their families, as well as knowing how to contribute to Nevada's growing economy. I urge your support to this bipartisan piece of legislation, currently with 30 sponsors, and we are eagerly accepting more sponsors, maybe 33 more. I look forward to working with all the stakeholders for another success again this time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Kim, both, and Dr. Kim, for your presentation today. We really appreciate you making the time to testify and share more information on this piece of legislation. Thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and close the hearing on AB 289. 1 minute recess. At this time, the Assembly Committee on Education is reconvened. And we will go ahead and open the hearing on AB 345. Assemblymember Mosca, please begin when you're ready.
Erica Mosca for the record. Thank you so much, Chair, Vice Chair, and the amazing Committee on Education. I'm excited to present Assembly Bill 345 today, which is really my constituent bill. So we have a lot of students who will be helping present today. And before I start, I will have one of them who worked with me the longest on it introduce himself.
Well, hello, my name is Kevin Osorio Hernandez. That is Osorio Hernandez. And I am a constituent of Assemblymember Erica Mosca, as well as the president of the student body at Nevada State University. And I've had the honor and privilege of serving as chair of the Nevada Student Alliance, representing over 100,000 students across the Nevada system of higher education.
Thank you. So today we should have a brief presentation. We're just going to make sure that we hear from student voice today. We will also hear from the Las Vegas Chamber. So I'm excited that they've also joined us today, as one of the recommendations comes directly from the Southern Nevada Forum. I'll then go over the bill and the amendment. Again, we know we cannot direct NCHE to do anything. So really it is when we're talking about policy considerations for NCHE to consider a policy from our committee. And so as you know, I have 3 pillars. This one goes under my higher education and workforce attainment pillar, and we really think about that this goes under 3 of NCHE's goals. Out of their 6 goals, we see it as increasing access, number 2 of improving student success, which is really attainment, and then the 6th one of ensuring system coordination, accountability, and transparency when it comes to the dashboard that we'll talk about a little later. And as we said before, we can only direct NCHE to adopt policies, so that's what we are doing here today. I will not read all of this, but I will say that my background is in college access and attainment. That is actually what I have been working on in my career, so I'm really excited, whether it was starting and running a nonprofit or I did serve on the NCSL Higher Education Task Force this past year. I do enjoy higher education issues as well as ensuring our students can persist once they are there. So that's where this comes from. There are 3 specific policy ideas here, and I thank you in advance for allowing our students to present them today. So for this first one, I will go down to Kevin down south.
Thank you, Assemblymember Mosca. So I think I will first share that I am not speaking on behalf of Nevada State University, NCHE, or within the Nevada Student Alliance, but I will share with you that the Nevada Student Alliance has voted to support the provisions of this bill as part of our legislative agenda. I'm especially excited because of the timing of this bill could not be more perfect. Last week, it was Open Education Week, and this is a global effort to promote accessible, affordable, and equitable learning for all. It's the perfect time to spotlight the work that we are doing to make education more affordable and student-centered. One of the biggest barriers to student success that often goes unnoticed is the rising cost of course materials. For many students, textbooks are not just academic necessity. They are a financial burden that can impact whether they stay enrolled or even complete their degree. Personally, I know many students who have spent upwards of $600 on a single textbook, and some have even considered dropping out because of the overwhelming cost of these course materials. So I am sure that all of you remember, as students, at one point you've had to pay textbooks, I'm sure. And that's why we are advancing this legislation to support open educational resources. These are high quality, openly licensed learning material that are free to access and use, and remove the cost barriers while maintaining academic excellence. Open educational resources offer significant benefit to both students and educators. OER eliminates the financial burden of expensive textbooks, makes education more affordable, particularly for underrepresented and financially disadvantaged students. By removing these cost barriers, OER helps students to stay enrolled and succeed academically. Studies show that students who use OER often achieve better grades and experience lower failure and lower withdrawal rates, especially among Pell Grant recipients and historically underserved populations. OER also enhances the learning experience by offering materials in various formats, such as videos and interactive content, which cater to different learning styles and promote greater engagement. For educators, OER offers the flexibility to customize and adapt their content to better align with course objectives and students' diverse needs. This ability to remix and localize resources allows for a more tailored, relevant curriculum, as OER materials are free and continuously updated. They provide an equitable and timely solution to the traditional textbook model, ensuring that both students and educators have access to the most current, relevant content. Additionally, there have been at least 11 states that have passed open educational resource legislation since 2019. Some of those states are Alaska, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Vermont, Alabama, and Washington, D.C. Before I pass it over to Northern Nevada to speak more on the other portion of this bill on food insecurity, I want to highlight that food insecurity has also been a consistent area of concern in our conversations as student leaders across the state. The Nevada Student Alliance has had many discussions surrounding the real barrier students face when it comes to accessing education. And that barrier is food insecurity. This has been one of the key issues we have continued to advocate on, and the NSA has voted to support legislation that addresses what I call food security. And of course, that means that no student should have to choose between their education and their next meal. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to Northern Nevada.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members of this committee. My name is Kevin Yang. That is Kevinyang for the record. I am a junior at the University of Nevada, Reno, and I am currently an intern for Assemblymember Mosca. I'm here today to offer my perspective on a hunger-free campus. As a student, nationally, there is a focus on achieving hunger-free campuses, with legislation passing in at least 10 states on this issue. But locally here in Nevada, this is a top issue for students. And currently, the Nevada Department of Agriculture and NSHE are working together to help students with $0 family contribution on their FAFSA. And being a UNR student, 24% of students there report food insecurity from the year 2016 to 2020. And the food pantry has seen dramatic increase in students over the years. And on the other campuses, for example, UNLV, we see that they allow students to use EBT cards on campus, and TMCC has partnered with Food Bank of Northern Nevada. And personally, as a UNR student, I've seen many of my peers struggle with having easy accessibility to food. As we know, meal plans aren't cheap. There is also no grocery market on campus, and third-party on-campus restaurants aren't always open when students need it. So we're suggesting that this is an important topic that could be studied in the interim, but we don't have enough info currently. Thank you.
And we'll go next to Arlie down south.
Hello, committee members. I'm Arlie Carrillo, ARLYCORRILO for the record, a recent graduate of the College of Southern Nevada and now enrolled at University of Las Vegas. I was Assembly members Erica Moscow's fall intern. Many states have laws helping students return to school even if they owe fees. Locally, students who owe up to $500 at universities or community college can re-enroll through payment plans, giving them a chance to finish their education. As a student, I know how tough things can get, which is why I think it's important to support policies like this. I actually have a friend who struggled with her payment plan and couldn't return until she paid it all off. That's why I support Assemblymember Mosca's efforts, and now I'll pass it back to Assemblymember Mosca.
Thank you. And then before we go through the bill, the last recommendation in the bill comes from the Southern Nevada Forum.
Hi, thank you. Trevor Parrish for the record, spelled Parrish, Manager of Government Affairs for the Vegas Chamber and proud UNLV graduate. Happy to share the table with my friend from UNR. Peace has been achieved. The feud is over. No longer. Very honored to be here today with Assemblymember Mosca to present this bill. A little bit of background, the Southern Nevada Forum is a partnership between the Vegas Chamber, the City of Las Vegas, and the Office of the Speaker. This was established first in 2013, and the forum has convened in every interim since then. All our meetings are open to the public to encourage community-wide dialogue, the entire public. So this bill stems from the Education Committee of the Southern Nevada Forum. What this bill is aiming to do is to increase accountability by making these data publicly available. It wants to be centered around student outcomes to help ensure students are prepared to enter the workforce. And this data is incredibly useful, of course, to our school districts, to the Nevada system of higher education, to the legislature, and to, of course, it's very important and useful to parents. As far as the cost of the initiative, we're continuing to work with Dieter and Enshi to make this initiative as cost neutral as possible. And with that, I'll pass it back to the Assembly member.
Thank you. So before we get to questions, I'll just summarize for us. So really the purpose was to, if this committee agrees, to direct Enchi to figure out policies that would ensure a return to school. So even if you owed a fee, if you're 1 to 2 semesters away from graduating, how we can help you go back to school because you've already accumulated all of those credits. We want to help you graduate. That's the first one. Open education resources, just how you can use open education resources instead of textbooks, and then the data dashboard. And the data dashboard, again, is from the chamber. The idea really is how to have outcome data regarding K-12 plus post-secondary and workforce. We've seen that there are actually 2 databases that already exist. Those are the 2 that are mentioned in the amendment. The WRPD system, the Nevada P20, which is through Dieter, and then there's another one called the iPad system, which is through Enchi. So we're still working on, instead of trying to create something new, can we figure out how they can collaborate to show those outcomes? And then the third thing, as was discussed, we did a lot of research on the food insecurity, and because there are such different ways that it's being handled, being monitored, have solutions, we thought that one is probably helpful to come back as a study in the interim if this committee saw fit. And so with that, we will take questions.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I'll go ahead and open it up to questions at this time. I'll go first to Assemblymember LaRue Hatch.
Thank you, Chair. And I always love how community-driven your bills are, and I appreciate, even with the presenters we have today. So my question is about the dashboard, which I really do appreciate, and often a lot of the questions I have are about this kind of data. I am especially interested in the students that had to enroll in a remedial course, because as a high school teacher, I want to make sure we're actually preparing our kiddos. The question I have, though, is with the recent shift away from remedial courses into putting students directly into those entry-level courses, but with extra supports, whatever those are, will we still be able to capture those students in this dashboard?
Chair, may I phone a friend from Enchi? Thank you.
Daniel Archer, Nevada System of Higher Education, and yes, there still is a mechanism by which to identify those students who are coming in as non-college ready because, as Assemblywoman Mosca noted, they are taking a support course to go with it, so that would allow us to designate those students who are coming in with sort of a deficiency that they're going to work through. So yes, we would be able to identify those students.
Go ahead.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Is it also possible to see whether that new model is more or less successful than the remediation model? Is there that data available as well?
Daniel Archer, Nevada System of Higher Education, absolutely, and it 100% is. Be happy to share that. We've got a dashboard that's got some really compelling data on it, and that's definitely one of our better success stories the last several years. So really proud of the work that's been done there.
Thank you. I think I have a question from Assemblymember Hanson along those lines.
Thank you, Chair, for letting me jump in while you're at the table, if I could. Mr. Archer, can you elaborate for us? What are our remedial rates? What are we seeing right now in the state? Do you have a general idea of a percentage of students that are needing remediation coming into the system?
That is Daniel Archer, Nevada System of Higher Education. That's a really good question. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'm certainly happy to look at that for you and get back to you.
Members, additional questions? I'll go ahead and ask a question. This is more for the Assembly member likely and those of you that work on this legislation. I appreciate the intent of it. I guess probably what I need before we can move this forward is definitely a lot more details, right? I think right now it's very high level overview of okay, we need research data, but I'm concerned that some of the data points might not be accessible. I know that there was a conversation somewhere in here, it requires like just some data on like students that are receiving like other benefits from a program of public assistance. I don't know how we would get that. I do believe that some of that information would also be available, like if NC added it to their questions for like during either applications or whatever type of annual survey or check-in that students might participate in. That might be a good way for them to start to gauge that information. But I think once I also had some concerns with like the implementation date. I know that it would become effective as in the legislation right now. It says July 1st of 2025. For some of the data requirements, I think we'd probably want to push that back just because I think the institutions might need some more time to start getting this data together and collecting it. Additionally, I would like to see, I appreciate the conversation regarding some of this work during the interim. And I think it would be helpful for us to see some of this, like if we could require that this committee were to get this report ready. I don't know. I think it seems like we're moving it to the interim committee on education. And so if whatever report on this information or subcommittee that is doing this information, if they could move the report to be due of, I would say September, October, of 2026, so that the legislature, if they would like, would be able to use that as to inform policy for the upcoming legislative cycle. And then there should be sent out to all the members of the Committee on Education, as well as the interim committees on education. So those are some helpful things that might be helpful. But and I was interested by the conversation around open source. So are we continuing to move forward with like some type of mandate on open source textbooks?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I would say that these are all very helpful, and we will for sure get back with you on that. And part of it is some of the social service things in the dashboard. We actually track that at DETR, and that's what we've learned, but they don't connect. So we're trying to figure out if legally can they even connect, could they not connect? And part of it is, of course, we know this is a policy and not a fiscal committee, but we were trying very hard to be cost neutral. So we will work on that, and I will get back to you for sure. And we are trying, the goal was, which you can always change based on direction, but the goal was to say that we did want to direct entry in the two specific ones of you could go back to school if you owe, and open education resources, because they're already working on those two things. So it's not in isolation. We've talked to NC. They have it at some schools, but not all of the schools. And then for food insecurity, honestly, originally we were thinking it was going to be an appropriation, but knowing how the budget is going, that is not feasible. So we thought it still could be effective to study it and bring back the policy for next session.
Thank you. Then to clarify, because you answered a lot of different parts of that statement, for open source resources, is the goal then for us to like require that study, like that interim study to look at the feasibility of making that policy for the future?
Oh, Erica Moss, for the record, we would want to actually just require NC to make it open, that we could have that as a policy if the regions would adopt it. So the study part was only the food insecurity part.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I do have some concerns with that. You know, I in my classroom as an educator, I believe in giving that choice and opportunities to educators to use what is best suited for them. And I do believe that there might be very specific or niche courses where those open source resources that are available might not necessarily meet the needs of those students. I also know that oftentimes those open source resources are not available in paper, and I myself print every single document that I get in this building. And so I know, and as an English student, I definitely had the physical book of every single book. So I know that might present itself a challenge. Additionally, in literary classes, I can see that being another challenge where you have a very specific novel. So some things to consider, but I'm happy to continue this conversation.
If I can address that question as well.
Yes, please proceed.
I think. Thank you. Well, Assemblymember Torres-Fossett, I think those.
Can you please state your name for the record? Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin Osorio Hernandez, for the record. Currently, of course, there is academic freedom across our institutions. Our professors are encouraged to look at the different resources that they are able to provide. And some, of course, do look at the resources that they have available through open educational resources, right? Additionally, I know you mentioned the concern on printing, right? I think the good thing about open educational resources is that there are various methods of receiving those resources, right? There's one such I would say, conductor of open educational resources called OpenStax. And currently they allow students to print any type of resource as they deem. It's also available to be read out loud and different methods for students to engage with their course materials, so they can print it out.
Members, are there any other questions? Assemblymember Flanagan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Assemblymember Mosca, for the presentation. In line with the the open educational resources, is there any cost data? Because I appreciate the usefulness, the universal access to materials when it's applicable in different courses. Do we have anything that says how it cost-wise makes it more efficient or supports students?
I'm going to defer that question to Kevin down south. Thank you.
Thank you. And Osorio Hernandez for the record. With cost of open educational resources, in fact, it is free, right? I think that is the great thing about these types of resources, that they are reputable, they are very rigorous, and they can be updated continuously. A lot of professors, in fact, open their resources for other professors to use, and they can even update them for themselves. Additionally, I think you mentioned another portion of your question on if there's an impact on the institutions. Was that right?
My mic went off. Thank you for asking. I think that actually is sufficient because it allows me to kind of look at the rest of the question without you having to go into more detail. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad I answered.
Thank you, Assemblymember. And then my NC Fun friends said they could figure that out too, like what they, because they do currently have it for some things.
Thank you. Members, do we have any additional questions? I don't see any additional questions at this time. We will go ahead and move on to the support. As a reminder, anyone wishing to testify in support may speak for up to 2 minutes, although do not feel that you need to fill the complete 2 minutes. And please make sure you state and spell your name for the record. Just like before, I will limit any support or opposition to 30 minutes on each side and 30 minutes for neutral as well. So when you're ready, please begin.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. My name is Kennedy Taylor, Kennedy Taylor. For the record, I serve as the Director of Government Affairs for the Associated Students of the University of Nevada. Today, I'm here to express our strong support for AB 344, which directs the Board of Regents to create and maintain a comprehensive online data dashboard providing statistical information about student outcomes in the Nevada systems of higher education. By also mandating a study on student financial challenges, this bill increases transparency surrounding the financial struggles students face while pursuing their education. Addressing these barriers is critical. In the 2023 ASUN Issues and Priority Needs Assessment, 74% of undergraduate students identified financial concerns as a major issue. In 2024, over half, 52% to be exact, of students reported experiencing medium to high financial strain. While ASUN operates UNR's food pantry to combat financial insecurity, paying for the majority of the personnel for PAC provisions, more resources are needed for our students. The rising cost of living continues to place long-term stress on students. The research from ASUN also indicates that as financial stress increases, GPAs tend to decline, a concern supported by multiple studies which I have forwarded to the bill sponsor. AB 345 is a critical step in addressing food and housing insecurity across NC institutions and equipping the Board of Regents with the necessary tools to tackle these issues on our campuses. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Anthony Curry, Director of Advocacy and Public Policy for Opportunity 180, a nonprofit organization working towards a North Star of every kid graduating high school, college, and career ready, prepared to live the life they dream. Central to our work is advocating for data-driven approach to education policy and ensuring school, district, and state-level data is available for stakeholders, from parents to students, for parents and students to legislators to use in their decision-making. We support AB 345 because it will bridge the gap that exists between K-12 education data and higher education data and provide a more complete picture of the path some of our high school graduates take and to what extent they are successful. This bill will give Nevada a clearer understanding of how students perform in post-secondary education and where misalignments exist between high school preparation and college expectations. This bill also models a framework for data transparency that other organizations and entities in our state can emulate. With this data, we can make more informed decisions about how to better prepare and support students as they transition from high school to post-secondary education. For these reasons, we support AB 345. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Chair and Committee. For the record, my name is Cal Boone, Calboone, and I'm here today as a private citizen, but also as a former student, having graduated with a degree in political science from the University of Nevada, Reno. I want to thank Assemblymember Mosca for bringing this bill forward, and I'm in support of it. Prior to my education at UNR, I was a student at UNLV before transferring. At UNLV, I studied graphic design and computational physics, both of which are still passions of mine. But I bring that up as a point to say that, as a high school student, I was confused on the best place to go for higher education. It is a convoluted process to research and apply to the best schools while having to navigate senior year of high school and graduation. AB 345 encourages data collection that will help inform prospective students and community members about educational institutions that they are interested in. In addition, I wanted to also give broad support of all the other aspects of the bill. As a citizen of the Walker River Paiute tribe located in Schurz, Nevada, I've seen how post-secondary education is difficult for the indigenous community. There is research that details how the higher grade level an indigenous student attains, the more likely they are to drop out. In summary, we have to find powerful ways like this to improve resources for students now and give better avenues of information for higher ed seeking students. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the Assembly. My name is Tania Akhtar, AKTER, and I'm the president of the Graduate Student Association at the University of Nevada, Reno. I'm here today to voice my strong support for AB 345, a bill that directly addresses the critical issue of food security for higher education. Food insecurity among graduate students is a growing crisis that affects not only their health, but also their academic success. A recent 2024 survey of 3,457 students at UNR found that 1 out of 3 students reported being very food insecure. This alarming statistic reflects the daily struggles faced by many students, including those pursuing advanced degrees. At UNR, PAC Provisions, our campus food pantry, has been overwhelming demand. Between 2023 and 2024, there were 12,219 visits with around 6,000 unique users accessing this essential service. However, despite the urgent need, many food insecure students avoid using these resources due to concerns such as embarrassment or fear of being judged, dietary restrictions, or food preference that aren't met. No student should have to choose between food and their education. Graduate students face unique financial burdens, often juggling research, teaching, and family responsibilities with limited income. Addressing food insecurity through AB 345 would provide necessary structural support, ensuring that no student goes hungry while working toward their future. I urge you to support this bill and take a meaningful step toward food security for all students in Nevada. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, my name is Madison Nielsen, Nielson. I am part of the Graduate Student Association at University of Nevada, Reno. Also a master's social work student. I'm in support of AB 345. In social work, we're very focused on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and food is a basic need. That in order to feel safe, in order to move up in the hierarchy and reach self-actualization, you need to have those basic needs met. And so many of our students are struggling to feel safe, to feel cared for, and to feel like they can be successful outside of the school. So thank you so much for your time.
Hi, my name is Heather Speed, S-P-E-E-D. I'm the Vice President of Student Services at the University of Nevada. I'd like to thank Assemblymember Mosca for bringing this critical topic forward. Food insecurity is an important topic for our campus and for our students, as you just heard from the last couple of testimonies. Food insecurity forces students to change focus from their academics, building and finding community, to determining where they might find their next meal. Across college campuses, the national average of food insecure students is about 23%. At our campus, which does have a large first-gen population, hovers around 30% of our student body who considers themselves food insecure. We truly appreciate your attention on this critical issue. Thank you so much.
Hello again, Daniel Archer, Nevada System of Higher Education. We certainly recognize the financial challenges and food insecurities that many of our students face, and we appreciate Assemblywoman Mosca's commitment to addressing these key issues in the bill, and we certainly look forward to continuing our collaboration with her on this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett and members of the committee. My name is Shelby Beetz. I'm here on behalf of the University of Nevada, Reno. Beetz, B-I-E-T-Z. I want to thank Assemblymember Mosca for bringing this bill and her thoughtful inclusion of higher education institutions and community members in its creation. As my colleagues and previous speakers have noted, food insecurity is a high need, perhaps now more than ever, for our communities and on higher education campuses. Nevada Extension at the University of Nevada, Reno is deeply engaged in food systems work with 6 identified pillars: production, processing, distribution, consumption, recovery, and access. Most recently, Extension has worked with partners on development of a food access map to identify areas of need and bringing food sources such as local farms, grocery stores, community gardens, food delivery partners, and more. We know nutrition education is an important piece of this issue. Extension is the lead SNAP Ed and EFNEP Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program implementing agency in the state, providing programming directly and in partnership on nutrition education to SNAP-eligible constituents through all corners of Nevada. In that vein, Nevada EFNEP has a 5-year goal to increase engagement of emerging adults aged 19 to 29 years old with limited financial resources, a similar audience to many of our higher education students. We look forward to working alongside Assemblymember Mosca to find ways to leverage existing programs and campus expertise to address the issue of food insecurity for our higher education students across our great state. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett and the still thoughtful Committee on Education. For the record, Leonardo Benavides with UNLV, here on support of AB 345. We want to thank Assemblymember Erica Mosca for bringing this forward. Obviously, I want to echo a lot of the sentiments from my colleagues from the other institutions. Student support and advocacy is of paramount importance. For example, we have services such as the UNLV Food Pantry that is open year-round to provide support to the students that need it. We also have the Basic Needs Program in which our students can reach out to our staff for in-person guidance and connections, as well as access basic items available in their offices. Programs such as these and the UNLV Hope Scholars programs are there to help students get the extra support they need so they can focus on their education and graduate. A mission that we think this dashboard and these efforts and this study will be an integral part of. That's why we're glad to be here today to support AB 345. Thank you.
I don't see anyone else here in Las Vegas. I'll go ahead or in Carson City. I'll go ahead and go to Las Vegas. Please begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett and members of the Education Committee. My name is Christian Solomon, Christian Solomon, and I'm the Western Regional Director of RISE. RISE is a Gen Z-led issue advocacy organization for college students and youth. I want to start by thanking Assemblymember Mosca for sponsoring this legislation. I'm speaking in support of AB 345 because it will optimize the higher education journey for all Nevada students and youth. This bill will sharpen students, families, and lawmakers' understanding of our Nevada higher ed outcomes, examine avenues to broaden cost-effective open educational resources, and address food insecurity on campus. And the food insecurity concern within this bill is of great significance to us. Last year, I represented RISE at the White House with the Biden administration's Office of Democracy and Civic Participation, where we declared food insecurity as a major barrier to student civic engagement as well as professional upward mobility. Though we are now under a new federal administration with vastly different attitudes toward college students, I'm elated that this bill has galvanized our state's spirit in countering campus hunger. I look forward to serving that spirit by working with our grassroots community and higher education stakeholders to tackle this head on. Thank you for your consideration, and please support Assembly Bill 345.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Pio Rejas, Piorejas, and I'm a political science student at UNLV. As the former student body president for the College of Southern Nevada and the current College of Liberal Arts senator at UNLV, I have seen firsthand how financial barriers hold students back. I'm here in strong support of AB 345 because it directly addresses the challenges that make it harder for students to succeed in college. Many of us have school, work, and family responsibilities, yet we are expected to pay hundreds of dollars for textbooks, sometimes just to use it for one semester or not use it at all. It is absolutely ridiculous for a broke college student like me to have to spend $400, even $500 on a book when we have open educational resources available. It's even worse when students can't rent the book because they need an original access code just to do their homework or even take their final exam. These unnecessary costs shouldn't stand between students and their education. Also, I'm especially grateful for the provision supporting students who are close to graduation. No one should have to drop out of earning their degree because of a small unpaid balance. AB 345 and Assemblywoman Erica Mosca really meet students where we are and help us keep moving forward. I really urge you to support it. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Lahana Pierce, LAHANA-PEARCE, and I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President of Nevada State University. I'm here today in strong support of AB 345 because this bill directly addresses the challenges that so many students face every single day. At Nevada State, we see firsthand how students are balancing classes, jobs, and family responsibilities, often making tough choices between paying for textbooks, tuition, or even basic necessities. For too many, something as small as an unpaid balance can be the reason they have to pause or even abandon their education, and that should not happen. At NSU, our students highly depend on our food pantry as well. I'm especially grateful for the provision that supports students who are just steps away from graduation. No one should have to walk away from their dreams because of financial barrier that could be solved with the right support. These students have already invested time, effort, and resources into their education, and we owe it to them to ensure that they can cross the finish line. When we remove unnecessary obstacles, we empower students to contribute to our workforce, strengthen our communities, and build a better future for all of us. AB 345 meets students where they are, offering real solutions that help them stay on track and move forward. I urge you to support this bill because then when students succeed, our entire community benefits. Thank you for your time, and stingers up.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Eric Jang, ERICJENG with One API Nevada. My team actually tables at UNR campus twice a week for a few years now for resources specifically addressing food insecurity. We offer SNAP benefits and navigation, and we've seen the need that this bill will address the challenges that we have on campus. So I'm here to support AB 345. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Torres Fawcett and members of the Education Committee. For the record, I'm Sivan Louie, spelled C-E-V-A-N, last name L-O-U-I-E. I did not plan on originally testifying on AB 345 today, but hearing the voices of our community, the passion, and how this bill meets students where they are, it felt absolutely necessary to. At One API Nevada, this year we worked on a research project called Snapshots of Diversity. I worked specifically on the education component of the project covering financial aid allocations for Nevada community colleges and universities. That data that we intended to release, we we looked to capture our A&HPI communities. And throughout that process, we struggled to find what we felt was needed to capture our community correctly. Additionally, as a Chamorro and Pacific Islander American, but additionally as a Pacific Islander that hopes to work on higher education policy, I understand the very impact that this bill will have. As higher education is a key to socioeconomic mobility, this type of bill and the data that it ends up releasing, it allows us to paint a better picture for communities just like mine. As in 2022 and 2023, NHPI students had the lowest college graduation rate and the third lowest high school graduation rate. I appreciate and urge the strong support of AB 345 for our most vulnerable communities and for the future of Nevada students.
As I don't see anyone else here in Carson City or in Vegas, we'll go ahead and move to the phones.
If you would like to testify in support of AB 345, please press star 9 to join the queue. Caller ending in 269, please use star 6 to unmute yourself and begin.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Catalina Wilson, and I'm a student at Western Nevada College. I'm here in strong support of AB 345 because it speaks directly to what students need to succeed. As the student body president of Western Nevada College, I know many of us juggle school, work, and family responsibilities. And things like textbook costs, food insecurity, and small financial holds can make it incredibly hard to stay on track. This bill helps address those real-life challenges. I'm especially grateful for the provision supporting students who are close to graduation. No one should have to stop short of earning their degree because of a small unpaid balance. AB 345 meets students where we are and helps us keep moving forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the Committee on Education. My name is Alexander Avila, AVILA, and I'm here as a recent UNLV graduate, and I'm calling support for AB 345. This bill focuses on helping students and ensuring transparency and allowing resources to be accessible, especially in these critical times where there's a lot of uncertainty with our education system and food insecurities. In all aspects, this bill can help with navigating through these issues, and that's why I ask for your support on AB 345. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alistair Dias, first name spelled Allister, last name Dias spelled Dias. I am the current student body president for UNLV, and I just wanted to voice my support for AB 345. As somebody who is graduating in May and somebody whose research specialty is indeed food insecurity, I have personally seen how the issue has impacted so many students, and looking at the numbers and presenting research on the matter, it really shows. And I wanted to thank Assembly Member Erica Mosca for bringing this very relevant topic forward. And additionally, like I mentioned, as somebody who is graduating, I think it's unfair for us to bar students from pursuing their educational prowess based on unpaid finances or things of that nature. And so as somebody who's seen not only the issue of food insecurity, but also the issue of finances play a very real, consequential role in the lives of so many students here at UNLV, I wholeheartedly support and encourage the board to vote in favor of AB 345. Thank you.
Chair, there are no additional callers choosing to provide testimony at this time.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to opposition. Is there anyone wishing to testify in opposition to AB 345? I don't see anyone here in Carson City. I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. ABH, is there anyone on the line wishing to testify in opposition to AB 345?
If you would like to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 345, please press star 9 to join the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify neutral to AB 345? I don't see anyone in Carson, and I do not see anyone in Las Vegas. AVH, is there anyone on the line wishing to testify neutral to AB 345?
To provide neutral testimony for Assembly Bill 345, please press star 9 to join the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to provide testimony at this time.
Thank you. At this time, I'll go ahead and invite the sponsors for any closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Education Committee. We will continue to work on it. We'll get back to you, and I just want to thank all of the students who participated today.
Hi, Chair. Trevor Parrish again for the record. Thank you so much again for the committee's time and for all your questions. I know they're geared around making this the best piece of legislation that we possibly can, so it's greatly appreciated. Just in closing, I just want to reiterate that this initiative came from the Education Committee of the Southern Nevada Forum, meaning that this was community inspired. Hundreds of people gathered at the forum to help create these ideas, and we thank the Assembly member for bringing it forward. These data are incredibly valuable and will be used to ensure that our resources are being allocated in the most effective and best possible ways that we can. And by making it a public dashboard, this greatly increases accountability. So again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the presentation. At this time, we'll go ahead and close the hearing on AB 345. At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to the last item on the agenda, which is public comment. As a reminder, anyone wishing to testify in public comment has 2 minutes to provide testimony. Public comment may be submitted to the committee up to 24 hours after the hearing. When you're ready, please make sure you state and spell your name for the record. Thank you.
John Eppolito. An experienced teacher told me, quote, "If it wasn't for all these screens, we wouldn't need so many school psychologists," end quote. It's good that we are starting to get cell phones out of the classroom. Protect Nevada Children suggests internet-free phones for kids. We also think it's time to start limiting screen time for education. Annette Rothman, pediatric nurse practitioner from Renown, wrote this article titled, "Screen Time, Causing Exacerbating Childhood Psychiatric Disorders." She told me she sometimes prescribes children stay off screens for a period of time. New York Times article titled, "A Dark Consensus About Screens and Kids Begins to Emerge in Silicon Valley." Many of the .com executives severely limit their own children's use of screens up to a screen-free primary education. I sent an email to the school board about Dr. Kardaris's book, Glow Kids, where he states, quote, "Excessive screen exposure can neurologically damage a young person's developing brain in the same way that cocaine addiction can." A year later, Jessica told the Washoe School Board that is exactly what happened to her son. He first became addicted to screens, then drugs, which culminated in an overdose. Some students are using district devices very inappropriately, up to primary students in Reno using their district-issued devices to watch XXX pornographic videos on Pornhub.com. We've had Nevada students being bullied via social media up to the point of suicide. School districts are putting devices in the hands of children and taking little responsibility for the harm being done to these kids. I'll send you a short email to follow up on this. ProtectNevadaChildren.org. Thank you.
Thank you. We will read that quickly. I don't see anyone else wishing to testify in public comment here in Carson City, and I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. AVH, is there anyone on the line wishing to testify in public comment?
Chair, the public lines are open and working, but there are no callers at this time. At this time, members, are there any comments from members before we adjourn?
As a note, we have posted the agenda already for Thursday's hearing, so please make sure you take a look at that. And our next meeting will be this upcoming Thursday. Seeing no further business from this committee, we are adjourned.